Oh my goodness. Have you heard of the breaking news? Joe Biden has stepped down. Yes, he has stepped down. I mean, it's really so sad for me. I just feel a bit sad for him. Health issues can be such great issues, especially when it comes to the one that has to do with your mental capacity. It's always so brutal. It's always so sad. And for me personally, it's always one of those things that I'm always afraid of. Any health issues that has to do with your ability to mentally be able to do the things that you usually would do before. So to an extent, people have been expecting this with the way Joe Biden's health has been going through, especially his mental capacity in terms of being able to do all those little things. And you see in the last few years, so it's like almost expected, but it's still like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I mean, it's just like, oh my goodness. That's what it feels like. But let me read a tweet from Joe Biden. This tweet was done, I think, this particular one was done like what time was it done now? Maybe 40 minutes ago, and it already has over 27 million views on X, formerly known as Twitter. It says, "My fellow Democrats, I have decided not to accept the nomination and to focus all my energies on my duties as president for the remainder of the term. My first decision as the party nominee in 2020 was to pick Kamala Harris as my vice president, and it's been the best decision I've made. Today, I want to offer my full support and endorsement for Kamala to be the nominee of our party this year. Democrats, it's time to come together and beat Trump. Let's do this." Whoa. Oh my goodness. There's been so many, statements. People have made a lot of statement comment on all of these. But let me read another of Joe Biden's tweet, the one that he did earlier before this particular one that he put out. And that one was to Americans. And he said, "My fellow Americans, over the past 3.5 years, we have made great progress as a nation. Today, America has the strongest economy in the world. We've made a historic investment in rebuilding our nation, in lowering prescription drug costs for seniors, and in expanding affordable health care to a record number of Americans. We've provided critically needed care to 1 million veterans exposed to toxic substances, passed the first gun safety law in 30 years, appointed the first African American woman to the Supreme Court, and passed the most significant climate legislation in the history of the world. America has never been better positioned to lead than we are today. I know none of this could have been done without you, the American people. Together, we overcame a once-in-a-century pandemic and the worst economic crisis since the Great Depression. We've protected and preserved our democracy, and we've revitalized and strengthened our alliances around the world. It has been the greatest honor of my life to serve as your president, and while it has been my intention to seek re-election, I believe it is in the best interest of my party and the country for me to stand down and to focus solely on fulfilling my duties as president for the remainder of my term. I will speak to the nation later this week in more detail about my decision. For now, let me express my deepest gratitude to all those who have worked so hard to see me re-elected. I wish to thank Vice President Kamala Harris for being an extraordinary partner in all this work. And let me express my heartfelt appreciation to the American people for the faith and trust you have placed in me. I believe today what I always have, that there's nothing America cannot do when we do it together. We just have to remember we are the United States of America. That was his statement earlier before the one he did, endorsing to his party, endorsing Kamala Harris. I'm just looking at this. I'm just reading this and all of that with nostalgia and thinking about Nigeria and the people who have been in Nigeria. Looking first of all at the current illegitimate president that we have, someone that rigged himself into office, in spite of the fact that you could say he had no capacity, both physically, mentally, to be able to take on the task, and yet he not only put himself forward, ensured that he rigged his way into office. And then you look at what Joe Biden has just done in stepping down for the betterment of the nation. After looking at this at Tinubu, the next thing I'm thinking about is Buhari. I remember in 2017 when I did a video that Buhari should step down, should resign. Oh Lord, have mercy! You needed to see the people that called for me to be killed, not even arrested, killed. You understand? How dare I say that Buhari should resign? At that time, Buhari was sick, although he was hiding the fact that he was sick. He will come later to when he had recovered to tell us that, he was sick, he almost died and stuff like that. But while he was sick, he literally denied it with every breath that he had and his people. And at that time, they had, what's his name? Vice President Osibanjo, Professor Osibanjo, sometimes when he likes his pastor Osibanjo, to be the acting president. But it wasn't working because nobody had regards for him. Nobody had anything for him. And most of the time, what happened was that they would seek the matter that were on ground and they would go over to London where Buhari was then and go and try to do the things that needed to do. And the country was suffering for it. And I came out and I said, look, we needed to stop this. This is not the way to go. Oh my goodness. You would think that I had committed a grievous sin and crime against Nigeria. The way people came at me, even those who were friends. The way they came at me, how dare you, how would you say Buhari should resign, blah, 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 blah. You know me, Shami Kikuma get my coconut head. And I did that. I remember doing that video. I did it in 4 languages because I always consider Pidgin as a language on its own. I did 4 separate videos. I did the one in English, in Hausa, in Esako, in Pidgin. And that was how I did those videos to say that. But just see what Joe Biden has done now. I mean, it just says to a lot of people need to understand that the country comes first. No matter, it comes above and beyond somebody's ambition. It comes above and beyond somebody's interest, whatever it is. You must think of the greater good. You must think of the people, and you must put that first, and you must do the needful. And so, all the best to Americans, and wishing them all the best in their election. As for Nigerian politicians, I know you people are not capable of learning, but I hope you are learning.